the NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. Congratulations, Gary.
Well, that worked about as well as you could possibly imagine last night. You give away nothing. You stay at 15, and you get the best wide receiver in the draft. Amazing. I'm pumped.
Is he the best wide receiver in the draft?
Could they have gotten an offensive tackle by moving up 2 spots?
So you guys aren't happy about
that's
this?
just a 30 for 30 intro?
Yeah, what's happening here?
No, dude. Yeah, listen, man. I know the crapshoot that is the NFL draft. I'm perfectly content with Jerry Jeudy. Now, there are some things, some flaws that we'll get into that I hate to do this because you're a kid coming out of college ready to start a career and people are going to start barking about you. But, that's how it works. So we'll talk about that during the course of the show. Some things that scare me off when it comes to Jerry Jeudy. But his skills, when I'm watching his tape, when they keep showing his Alabama play, every 6th time he touched the ball at Bama, every 6th time he scored a touchdown. That's pretty efficient.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud of a player. The Broncos, here's what the Broncos got, Brett. An absolute stud of a wide receiver who's absolutely going to make Drew Lock a better player if Drew Lock doesn't screw this up. I mean, this is now, hey, listen, you got the rookie wideout coming in. They can grow together. That's all well and good. Now it's up to big old number 3 not to screw this up, watching the draft shirtless in his old man's house.
Would you guys agree with me, though? Maybe not next year. It's asking too much your first year. But in 2 years, Jerry Jeudy, if you're taking 15th, if you're taking as the supposed best receiver in the draft, he's got to be the best receiver on this team. He's got to be the Broncos' number 1. Is that fair?
Yep. No doubt about it. He's got to pass Cortland Sutton at some point. And I love Cortland Sutton. You know that. I have loved him. But he's got to be better than that if you're going to use that pick on Jerry Jeudy. Agreed.
See, but he's versatile. He's versatile. We always talk about who's going to play the slot for this team. He can do that. He can play outside. He can play inside. If you want to have Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick playing the outsides, you can move him back into the slot and let him do work there. He can do pretty much everything you want as a wide receiver. And that's where I feel like you guys are subdued. I feel like I'm the guy who's a lot more excited about something than you guys are.
Oh, no, I'm not subdued. I'm just a bit tired. I'll be honest with you. I was doing that draft thing all night, and, you chew on all those players and all those, I was in for the Zoom session with Vic Fangio and John Elway, and fascinating to hear from them. I'll say, I want to start our show by saying this, and we are paid to skewer at times, but not all the time. That production by ESPN and the NFL, the fact that we're doing this amid the chaos that exists around us, I am so impressed. And Mose, you can speak to this. You're in the television world. You know how tough it is to put on a live television event and to do it from people's homes and to do it in so many different places. The fact that they pulled that off last night and made for really, really good television, I'm stunned. It was wonderfully done.
It really was. The fact that they talked over each other a little bit, when the little kid was the kid who's beating cancer for the Browns. And he throws it back to Goodell, or Goodell, he hadn't thrown it back yet. Goodell's like, yeah, give it to me. And then, well, thank you, Jeffrey. There's a couple things to, that didn't work. But in the grand scheme of things, as far as the production is concerned, it was magnificent. They did a great job, because that is incredibly hard to pull off. Now, in that kind of thing, you have to pre-record a lot of stuff, okay? And then the producer and director have to be in, they have to work in sync inside the TV truck, and everybody has to run it, blah, blah, blah. But they did a really, really nice job. I'm impressed, too. It went as smooth, I thought, as it could go.
Oh, and guys, I'm pretty dumb. I had no idea until like pick 27, when I was a little more relaxed. I had no idea that there was a simulcasted broadcast on ABC as well, with different talent involved. I had no idea that they were producing 2 separate shows with 2 different sets of talent.
What are you talking about?
I had no idea.
Who's on ABC?
The college guys. It was all the college guys from ESPN. They did I had no idea. I had zero clue that they had two separate broadcasts going last night. If you wanted the pro perspective, they had Trey Wingo and all the pro analysts. If you wanted the college perspective, the ABC crew was the college game day crew. All the college game day guys, Reese, or what's the guy's name?
Reese Davis.
Yeah, Reese and his
Kirk
whole
Herbstreit.
collection. All
Herbstreit
of those
and all those
dudes,
guys.
yes, all those dudes were on ABC.
Oh,
So,
man, I want to watch that too. I didn't know that.
I'll be honest, I like the Wingo one a lot better. It was just
Okay.
sharper.
All right.
But I went back and forth toward the end of the night, and I'm sitting there going, oh, my God. Not only are they juggling two separate productions, but they're doing so from all these different places. Hey, man, listen, the game was on point last night. Right here.
I thought
Right
you were
here.
going to say the other broadcast was on ABC, and the cast of Good Morning America did an awesome job with the draft. Yeah, all my favorites are
Cardi B was actually hosting that one.
Cardi B, it's the shiny new year with what's his face from American Idol.
It was outstanding.
Cardi, there's a lot of scouting tape on this guy. What do you think? Hang on, looking for him. I'm trying to find him. Looking for him.
Trung is saying something on the. I want to respond to what Trung is saying, because now that we're broadcasting our show on Twitch, and I'm all about that Twitch. Thank you for watching on the Twitchy. Trung says they should have done it for Twitch with fan chats. Here's the deal.
No,
Trung.
come on.
I'm gonna be very real with you about why networks choose to do what they do on their respective platforms. They make more money on ESPN and on ABC. If they were to give it to people for free on Twitch, folks like yourself who watch, that means fewer viewers on ABC or ESPN. Fewer viewers leads to less ad revenue. They would never cannibalize their own product for the sake of Twitch. And I love this format. It's great. But you understand how this works, right? You know, everybody who calls for streaming, stream. Why would a network cannibalize its numbers for that? It's not happening. It's not going to happen.
Well, okay. With all of that being said, the television product was great. Getting back to the draft, I was pretty shocked initially at, you hear all these rumors about the Lions and the Giants and all these teams wanting to trade back. And hey, the Jags are talking about moving up in the draft and taking X, Y, and Z. And it was pretty
Nothing
chalk,
happened.
dude.
Nothing happened.
The Broncos pick at 15, 1 through 15. Everything was pretty much standard with the exception of C.J. Henderson being drafted 9th overall through a wrench and things.
C.J. Anderson?
Or C.J. Henderson.
Yeah.
Henderson. Being drafted at 9 overall through a wrench and things. Henry Ruggs being the first receiver off the draft, which I still maintain is Mark Davis's ode to his dad, which is draft the fast guy. I don't care about anything else. Whoever's the fastest wide receiver in this draft, he goes first overall.
Maybe, but it certainly seemed to me like Mayock and Gruden were running that joint. That's what it seemed like to me. That those two guys, that they're getting a guy. I mean, maybe Mark Davis in his haircut says, "Hey, take the fastest guy that's out there." Har har har. But I mean, it seemed to me like Gruden was pretty thrilled. I guess he wouldn't act like he wasn't anyway. I dig what you're saying.
Isn't it funny that just 3 years ago, both of those two guys, Gruden and Mayock, were on the other side, on the production broadcast side?
Yep.
Yeah. Now they're doing their own thing. It's funny.
See, but for me, when everything was going chalk, and then I saw the Henderson pick at number 9, I was like, this is exactly what the Broncos needed. Because then you got to 12, and then Ruggs was taking, you're like, dude, you're telling me they're 3 picks away. You can have Worse, you can have Judy, or you can have Lamb without moving a finger. Like, you can just sit there and grab one of those guys.
I was on the Zoom call last night with Elway and Fangio, and that was the question of the night I had, is how close were they when they noticed Wirf's drop and they saw San Francisco at 13? And we know how many times in years past the Broncos and the Niners have been dance partners, right? Lynch and Elway talk all the time. They're good friends. They talk all the time. I immediately thought to myself, wait a minute. They're talking to San Francisco because San Francisco is looking to trade out at 13. I guarantee that Elway's on the horn with Lynch saying, what would it take for us to get to 13 so we can grab Wirfs? Well, in the end, Tampa Bay did the deed. Tampa Bay made the move one spot up because they knew exactly. Why do you think Tampa Bay did that? Why did Tampa move
because
up
they knew that Elway was on the horn with John Lynch.
Exactly right.
That's why.
I mean, the biggest sign of all, they knew that the Broncos wanted Wirfs. They knew it, so that they made a better deal. They gave up a fourth and some other stuff.
They need a big fella. They're in more need right now, immediate need of that tackle than even the Broncos are.
No doubt about it.
Because they've got a 2-year window with Brady that they must protect.
And everybody
you got to get a big fella to guard him, to guard his backside.
Elway acknowledged last night. He acknowledged they tried to move up. They looked into it. They tried to move up. Now, he wouldn't specify why they tried, but it's fairly obvious why, okay? If Wirfs is out there and he's available, of course you try to move up. They didn't have the trade bait to do it. And you can't compete with Tampa for what Moser just said. Tampa's on a 2-year window. They're in a win-now mode. They're going to give up as much as they need to give up to make that pick happen.
Yeah, it's like me when this whole quarantine thing is over. I'm gonna have like a 2-month window
of just going crazy on everything. For everyone,
you use your own imagination.
Regardless, though, I mean, how much do you buy into this then, Vic? Because they might have discussed trading up. He said that they had their sights set on a wide receiver, and that was it. Is that just saying that after the fact?
That's because they got Judy.
Don't misinterpret.
That's because they got Judy.
Don't misinterpret what Elway said. Elway was asked about Judy. He said he was number 1 on their board. Now, their board changed. Their board changed when they got to 15. Not number 1 on the board at 1. Certainly. Come on. Right.
There isn't a single team that drafts a player that in the first round that isn't number 1 on their board.
But if the follow-up question, and it was impossible to ask last night because everybody had to do the Zoom call and get in line, so there's no follow-ups allowed. The follow-up question to when somebody says he was number 1 on our board, was he number 1 on your board at pick 14 or at pick 1?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I guarantee, listen to me closely, the Denver Broncos wanted to go up and get Tristan Wirfs. They looked into it. They called John Lynch. I know this. But Tampa Bay offered more.
There you go. And I don't doubt that for even a second, not even a split second, which now begs the question, when we do some draft coverage tonight, Brett, do they start looking for a big fella in round number 2 and beyond? Now, are we looking for them to find their tackle who's maybe a little bit more of a project in the coming rounds?
We'll see. And that's what I want to get to when we come back, is the idea of, I believe tonight is going to be your deciding factor on whether this team can compete for a wild card spot next year or not. Because now that you've saved these draft picks, you can package things together to move up and draft somebody that you really want. You can do that multiple times tonight.
And Vic, I think it's important to note as we get the break here that night 1, hell, my dog Jeff could do night 1. Jeff could sit here with a headset on and go, oh yeah, good boy, that's a great pick. Good boy. But when you get into night 2, that's where the big guns and the brains come out. This is where the smart people do the work. For all of you pretty boys. Pretty boys are all around number 1. Oh, look, it's the best wide out the draft.
Joe Burrow. Here's my thoughts on Joe Burrow.
Right. He's good. But it's night number 2 where the real football people come out, where the brains start to really take over. So Lombardi, you go drink your whiskey tonight. You sit in your hot tub and play tickle fight with the filter or whatever it is you do, and let the big boys take over on night 2 coming up tonight.
Oh, you have a good time. I'll be honest, doing it last night was fun and all, but I was multitasking, doing Twitter, doing this, watching it. I want to watch tonight and listen. It was so much fun with the scenery that unfolded on television from the players' homes. Please tell me that we're going to spend a segment talking about our favorite events from the players and coaches' places. Please tell me we're going to do that.
Oh, yeah. That's coming up a little bit later. Again, if you guys want in 303-504-0925.
Like the dude taking a poop in Vrabel's house? Are we going to get to the kid taking a poop in Vrabel's house?
Please tell me.
Yep. Okay. Yep, we can do that.
The boy watch.
All right, Kingsbury's palatial mansion that he did his draft from?
0925. We'll get to all of that when we come back.
Hey, listen, are you worried about credit card debt building up? Maybe looking for a way to save a few $100 a month, even up to a few thousand a month? Well, if you're a homeowner, the answer may be as simple as a mortgage refinance. Hey, it's Mark Moser here for American Financing. I know times are tough right now, so much uncertainty out there, and you might build up credit card debt like I did. You're like, oh, gosh, how do I get rid of this? Well, let me tell you something. With mortgage rates still at record lows, it's a great time to take advantage of a lower interest rate.
Beer fans with a fighting spirit.
If the Broncos are going to take a wide receiver in the draft, Jerry Jeudy hopefully will be the guy. The Alabama receiver measures at 6'1", 193. He ran a 4.45 40. Over the past 2 seasons, Jeudy has averaged a touchdown every 6 catches. He leads a remarkable wide receiver class because of his route versatility, high-end speed, and body control. He will have to adjust to NFL cornerbacks. He rarely faces press coverage at Alabama, but his precision routes will make him a popular choice for his quarterback. Jeff Legwold ranks Jerry Jeudy at number 6 overall in his top 100 and would be incredible value for the Broncos if he fell to 15 and may be worth trading up for if they can get to 8 or 10.
Lock on 92.5 for live draft coverage. 6 p.m. tonight and tomorrow. Presented by Modelo Especial on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I want gold. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 I see you. Okay. And he got his report.
That would be the reaction from future Hall of Famer and Ring of Famer Von Miller seeing Jerry Jeudy being drafted by the Broncos. That dude's happy about everything. I love just how optimistic that guy is. But that reaction was pretty genuine. That was an Instagram between him and Bradley Chubb, correct? Those two talking back and forth with one another. You wanted help for Drew Lock. This is help. And I know that everybody's focusing, or not everybody, but there has been a focus on tackle and replacing Garrett Bowles. And I still wonder this. You know, if they would have drafted a guy like Tristan Wirfs, that obviously would have pushed Garrett Bowles out of that left tackle spot. But
not necessarily.
What would have happened?
Wirfs may have gone to right spot. That's one of the reasons why some teams are suspicious about him, because he's more targeted, according to Leggy, as a right tackle in the NFL.
So then what happens to James? It's a lot of money for a guy.
Maybe he moves to left tackle.
Okay.
Well, regardless, I mean, somebody's got to play center or guard, depending on what you're going to do with Glasgow. I mean, that's an immediate need. And that's where I was looking at tackle like, yes, it would be awesome if you got somebody that was solid enough to hold down the left tackle spot, right? That'd be great. But you'd still need somebody in the middle. You still have a position to fill there. And that's where I think today, that's where they're going to be looking, is that, and then also finding a corner opposite of A.J. Bouye.
Okay. But I completely agree with you. But what I do not want to do is have anyone under the impression that, okay, they're going to build their entire offensive line today. And this line's going to be together for the next decade, and everybody's going to be high-fiving and playing tickle fight and so on. Because it doesn't work that way. You can draft guys today, and hopefully one guy works out. The fact that you got Dalton Reisner last year and he stepped in and was so good so quickly, that's not a common occurrence, man. It just this just doesn't happen all the time. So
It's a lot easier to find that stuff. The interior linemen, though, in rounds 2 and 3,
there ain't no doubt about
play
it.
immediately.
There ain't no doubt about it because the grades are more. The difference between a first round guard and a second round guard, it's very minimal. Put it that way. If
you don't find
at
Quentin
all.
Nelson. Quentin Nelson doesn't come around too often, where he's just an absolute beast.
Okay, and let me backtrack a little bit here. Second round guards, third round guards, even fourth round guards. Man, some guys are late bloomers, some guys are this, some guys are that. Some guys can improve their footwork, some guys can't. I mean, it's the difference as far as I'm concerned is very, very minimal. And you're right, but I just don't want anybody to think that they're just going to build this whole offensive line right now in this offseason and out there ready to go and let's get it on. Hopefully that happens. If they did, it would be a miracle, but you can't be sure of it.
Hey, Marty, give me the cut from Elway talking about wanting to get back into the first round after they made the Jerry Jeudy pick. They thought about getting back into it in the 20s. They tried. They could not. And in my mind, they were trying to get back to go after that Cesar Ruiz kid from Michigan, the center. Now, they could not work a deal. They could not give up enough to get back into it, but they tried. Do we have that cut, Marty?
Well, first of all, we did try to get back in the back end, and there wouldn't people didn't want to fall back as far as we were, so we couldn't get back into. So there was some attempt to get back in, but we're unable to do it. So we're happy with where we are. We got 4 picks tomorrow, so we'll see how things go.
There you go.
So with the
Vic,
4
that
picks,
was important.
The 4 picks today, how many of those 4 picks? I guarantee one of those picks is going to be a lineman. One of those picks,
no doubt about
going to be a corner.
No doubt about it.
And the other 2 up for grabs. The other 2 are up for grabs. But of those 4, one's a corner, one's a lineman. Is that fair?
Absolutely. To me, it's day 2, and it depends on where you are as a team. But here's where beauty is in the eye of the beholder. At least it starts that way. Even in the late first round, it's beauty. I mean, for crying out loud, the Raiders took Damon Arnett and you're going like, whoa, that was a little bit of a leap there. But it's in the eye of the beholder. And if they're correct, then they're correct. Hey, when the Chiefs traded up to take Mahomes at 10, people are going, whoa, they could have maybe just waited. He would have dropped to them. But they had their eye on whatever it is they saw, and they liked whatever it is it was, and clearly they ended up being right. But, the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So when it comes to linemen, corners, maybe you want to throw a linebacker in there. You want to do 2 offensive linemen, Vic? I'm okay with that, too, because it's something that does need to be shored up. As far as I'm concerned, that's now the number 1 need of this team, that and corner depth. But use all 4 picks on 2 offensive linemen or 3 in a corner or vice versa, whatever it takes, get it done today because there are valuable players out there coming up tonight. Still very valuable players.
I don't think they draft 4 people tonight. I think they package one of those picks and move up and do something similar to what they did last year. Remember when they took Reisner and then they traded up to draft Drew Lock in the pick afterwards? Yep. I think they probably do something like that, similar tonight. Because, as we've mentioned before, guys, they aren't – I mean, listen, they aren't going to sign 10 rookies on this roster. Despite all the picks that they have, that now is, to me, capital to make an impact.
Well, Thursday is for show. Friday, Saturdays for all the dough. You guys be happy to hear that since you're both working Friday, Saturdays drafts.
I'm not
That's
working
where you
Saturday's
make your
draft.
Oh, you're not? Okay. Well, somebody is.
I didn't get that email. Am I working the draft on Saturday?
I don't know. Somebody is. The point I'm trying to make is there's a reason. There's a reason. A very, very good reason. The New England Patriots always seem to trade out of the first round and sit there and watch everybody do their thing. And here's Bill Belichick and the Patriots with 13 picks remaining over the next 2 nights. 13 of them. They have 4 third-rounders. 4 picks in the third. I mean, the guy, he does it for a reason. Everybody wondering why the Patriots get out. Why every year do they not pick in the first round? They don't care. The first round is a waste of time for the Patriots. They don't play this game.
Let's see if they still feel that way when they don't have Tom Brady to bail them out, making third-round picks better.
But that's their philosophy. Their philosophy has always been this way. They're very consistent. They never work in the first round. They don't waste their time here. They do all of their damage in rounds 2 through 7.
I can't get over it. I take my orders from Dave Tepper. Unless you all of a sudden were hired as the assistant PD behind our backs and we didn't know, you don't tell me that I'm working Saturday. No.
What else are you going to do?
Moser, what's happening? I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday, fill out the TPS reports. So,
what else do you have going on? You got nothing in your life. You have nothing to look forward to Saturday.
Jesus.
Zero. There's nothing in Mark Moser's life when he goes to bed tonight and awakens tomorrow morning, nothing going on in his world where he could say, good, I'm looking forward to this. So on that alone,
no.
You're getting your butt out of bed
battered puppy.
And you're going to work 5 hours of radio on Saturday because it's the best thing you've got going. That's right. Now go to your coffee maker, make another coffee, and make me one too.
Vic, we like to beat up on Moj, but Jesus, tone it down a little bit. You told the man he has nothing to live for, essentially.
I had to set him straight a little bit. He made me angry. Sorry.
No, this isn't scared straight. Like we aren't in prison and you're one of the guards yelling at a 5-year-old telling him stop stealing from your mom's purse.
Brett, I wouldn't tell him anything I wouldn't tell myself. I'm in the same category. What the hell do you think I'm going to do on Saturday?
So
Last night I talked to our boss.
Draft coverage on Saturday?
Well, I talked to our boss, Dave Tepper. He goes, hey, if we need you again, we'll call you. Well, yeah, might as well. I'm just sitting here. What are you doing on Saturday? What's everybody listening to? What do you think we're doing Saturday? What the hell do you think the world is doing on Saturday?
Moser, I apologize on behalf of Vic for being so insensitive. It was over the top.
Thanks, buddy.
And it shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, I know, dude. Can you tell? I mean, that got to my core, bro. I mean, that got when I'm alone in this house now.
Settle down just a little bit.
On day 43 with a dog. And I lay my pretty little head on the pillow at night and think about being alone. I think to myself, well, you know what, though? When I get up in the morning about 5:45, 6 o'clock, and I'm getting ready for the show, I'm going to anticipate getting on with my boys, talking draft, and they'll bring me up. Mm-hmm. My boys will lift me up. My boys got me because these are my boys.
This is all you have. This is all you have to look forward to.
And then I get you literally have nothing else in your life.
Zero.
Well,
so what are you doing on Saturday, Moshe?
Else to do in life.
Moshe, what you got going on Saturday?
I'll probably jump on and do some radio. Probably do some draft coverage. I don't know. Let's talk about 6th and 7th round picks and whether or not these guys are good at playing Monopoly or something like that. Foosball, yeah.
That's all you got.
Pretty damn much, man. I'm full on Forrest Gump all by myself alone in this house.
When we come back, Mike Vrabel is my favorite coach in the history of coaching.
Get to that.
Do it.
James Palmer joins us at 9 o'clock. Stick around.
Step back, Jay Kabloom. Let me hear you now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Come on, Vic. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Let's do it now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Here we go now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Take it to the house. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Knock it down, mother trucker. Knock it down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
In your face.
Step back, Jay Kabloom.
Come on, say it now.
Step back, Jay Kabloom. We'll drop it in there. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Knock it down now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Let me hear you now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Come on, Vic. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Let's do it now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Here we go now. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Take it to the house. Step back, Jay Kabloom. We doing it. Step back, Jay Kabloom. Come on.
before the draft started, everything went out in my house. Not the power, but all the internet. My TV wasn't working. Everything froze up. And Russ Trainer, who's our IT guy here, he was in a little bit of a panic. And luckily, there was some Comcast guys came and they got it fixed in about 5 minutes, but everything froze.
So that's Vic Fangio after the first round ended last night saying, yeah, everything just kind of crapped out in my house for 5 minutes. There was a giant panic. Can you imagine being the IT guy during that, knowing that you have the eyeballs of Vic Fangio staring you down, just thinking, get this working now.
Dude, I can see the conversation right now. Hey, Elway wants to know what you like. What do you like? Nothing's working. What do you like? Well, I like watching Judge Judy. It's a good show. Hey, he likes Judy. Okay, we're taking Jerry Judy.
How long did it take you to think of that joke?
I wanted to throw it on Twitter, but you've
been working on it for a while. Is that it? Yeah, everybody's
that
like
one,
Judge Judy now.
That one was
like
worse than Buck Slaughter. Yeah, that's Buck Slaughter category of joke right there.
It really kind of
but
is,
I could totally see that happening. The fact that his internet went out, I mean, all right, great. But if Elway's internet had gone out, that's DEFCON 1, right? That's when you really start to DEFCON. Sorry, I know.
Dude, Moser, please don't leave.
Just please let me. I'm begging.
Quickly.
Just give me. No. I'm just going to take some time off. I got to collect myself after being accosted last segment. And we've been through the DEFCON crap 1,000 times. I can't. It's like your kid's going 2 and 2 plus 5. No, Jimmy, it's 2 and 2 equals 4. Yeah.
What was your favorite moment? Your favorite moment from the draft? What was the moment that will live in the back of your mind for years? For me, it was very easy.
I got a couple of categories I'd like to go through, and yours, what you want to talk about is going to appear on this. Marty, give me some music behind this, please. So just a couple of things, a couple of categories I made up from watching the draft last night. First of all, we can start with this. Best draft setup.
Oh, well, it's either going to be Jerry Jones in his yacht. Okay,
yeah, that's good.
He's on the water in quarantine. Or if you wanted to go a little less billionaire, Cliff Kingsbury and his setup, the spotless living room overlooking the swimming pool.
And look at that picture.
Dude, come on, man.
That's beautiful.
I mean, look at dude. I know, but look at dude. Dude, that's like.
Look at the shoes. He's wearing loafers, no socks.
Come on, man.
He's got a fitted collared shirt on. A fitted. That's not just a collared shirt. That's fitted. Fitted for his body. Every contour of his body. Everything there.
You know he put the camera up to show that angle. You know he did.
Just
he's
relaxed.
Like, oh, yeah.
Look at me. Look at this amazing fireplace off to the right and a giant TV. And then you're looking out over the mountains like, it's so amazing. It looks like a resort.
You know, he's trying to get out the image that this is so easy, guys. Look at me relaxing. It's so easy. Life is so easy for me.
Dude, you're going to go 5 and 11. Knock it off.
Dude, they got Isaiah Simmons at number 8. They actually got a pretty good first round for them. So then we can go to worst draft setup.
Hold on. The Jerry Jones thing, I mean, that looks too. Who's got a $250 million yacht, man? Like, what?
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life? I mean, look at this. Look at this guy. That chandelier's worth more than my house. Look at that.
So dude, I know. I don't even want to.
Look at that flipping boat.
You can't include him. You can't do it because he's an owner. He's an owner / GM. GMs aren't going to have that money. He's discounted from this. Kingsbury wins. You can go to worst setup, and I maintain it's whatever the hell Dave Gettleman was sitting in. He was in a room that looked like the one I'm sitting in right now for his draft.
And he kept trying to dress it up during the course of the night.
The worst was Zach Taylor. It's like Zach Taylor cleared the furniture out of a Motel 6 and sat in the corner. That's what it looks like.
My favorite shot, though, is when they panned back to Gettleman after he made the pick. His work was done for the night. And that's when he decides to put on the mask by himself with no one else in the room wearing a mask.
Now, before everybody jumps on you like they did on me, I said the same thing, and he went through
So did
lymphoma
I.
a couple years ago, and he had an IT specialist that was there. That's why he wore the mask.
Okay,
We
but
all
why
thought the
was he-
same thing.
Why
We all
wasn't he
thought the
wearing
same
it through
thing.
the whole damn night then?
That's what I was wondering, but
Okay,
I guess you
listen,
can't question
okay.
that unless you want to get yelled at by people.
Okay, that's what my point is. Listen, he's sitting there literally for the first hour of the draft, even the pre-draft coverage, and they're scamming around to all the different scenarios, right? And they're going, hey, here's Gettleman's house, and here's O'Brien's house, and here's this, and here's that. Gettleman, dude, the IT guy was he locked outside in the backyard for the whole time, and then once the pick is made, he's like, now I put my mask on. I mean,
Listen.
So people are making excuses for him, and listen, I know that he battled cancer, and thank God he's beating it. I mean, seriously, I'm dead serious. But then why are you not wearing it? If the IT guy's in the house and the heat or the air conditioner's on and air is filtering, why are you not wearing it the whole time?
Listen,
I mean, it's a legit question, is it not?
The bottom line is it was hilarious. He made the pick, and then he was wearing a mask directly afterwards, like that was his walk-off. It was funny.
How about
And one last thing on that. The best part of his room, he had like a picnic table that you would pull out at your aunt's house at a family reunion that he had his TV screen sitting on that was being taped down by electrical tape on that stupid folding table. It was a terrible setup. Anyways, continue.
Honorable mention for me was a hoodie, Bill Belichick, with one laptop, one memo pad in my mother's dining room table. That's it. And he was done working for the night, traded out of the first round, and that's all he needs.
There's a bottle of vitamins on the table, too, by the way. Just had a bottle of vitamins sitting up there. How about this? Best draft reaction? Because I think I'm going to give it to Javon Kinlaw's dad, who just did a barrel roll after he saw his son get drafted.
Yeah, pretty awesome. That was awesome.
It's the my son is now a multi-millionaire barrel roll. That's a nice one to have.
I don't know. I thought the draft reaction from C.D. Lamb when his girl tried to take his phone and he said, no. Did you see that? She said, hey, let me see who's calling you. Don't take my phone, honey. You may see something that you don't want to see. Don't take that phone. By the way, they could have cut to C.D. Lamb's shot all night. That would have been a happy guy. C.D. Lamb's girl? Holy moly.
Vic will let her take the phone.
Oh, come on, man.
What do you mean, come on, man? What do you mean, come on, man? What do you mean, come on, man?
Are we going?
What do you come on me?
Are we going? There you go. He's like, no.
Nope. You don't get that phone. No, you don't get the phone.
Don't come on me when you see this. What do you come on me about?
We can do that. He's very explosive.
The last thing here, and this is what you wanted to get to, Vic. This is what I maintain to be the most interesting photo of the night. So let's go through a couple.
There's so much that I don't understand about this.
Mike Vrabel and his setup. He's sitting there. He's looking dapper. He's looking professional. But around him, surrounding him, what you have, and I'm just going to hit a zoom from the picture that I'm looking at here, because you have guy in a mullet that's wearing what looks to be a Pro Bowl jersey behind him to his left.
He looks like Joe Exotic.
That's correct. And it's Vrabel's Pro Bowl jersey. Correct.
Yep. I assume it's one of his sons. I don't know if it is. I'm going to assume it's one of his sons, and he's got Joe Exotic look. I'm telling you, this is impressionist art. Keep going.
On the other side of him, to his right, there's a man in a what looks to be a onesie. It's one of those Green Man outfits that you see at sporting events. He's wearing that with a pair of shorts, Titan shorts. He's just standing there, arms folded, looking totally weird.
Well, that's like the Freeze in Atlanta, the dude who would race people on the warning track. Yeah. That's like he's got like the Freeze outfit on. That's what he's got. Okay?
Even farther to the right, there is a teenage girl that looks to be sitting crisscross applesauce on a table for some reason.
Yep, she's just hanging
between
out.
Mr. Freeze and the teenage girl is what looks to be a man pooping.
Is that a reflection, by the way? That's a reflection off that window.
Right, in the mirror of whatever that is. Yeah.
That person, and I guarantee that wasn't an accident. That was purposely set up. Let's get a reflection going. Let's take a look at our impressionist art, see how it comes off on television. Mike Vrabel, you are a genius. You have the best sense of humor I've ever seen. You are my favorite coach, probably my favorite human being on the. I can't believe you pulled this off. It's one of those riddles,
dude.
It's a riddle.
dude, okay, so dude in the bathroom doing his business with the door wide open with all these other people roaming about the house. I mean, if that's like, I don't know how many kids he's got. I'd like to find out who these people are. Does he have 4 children? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. He pulled this off on national television with such a huge audience watching. And it wasn't blunt. It was subtle. Everything about that photo was subtle, and it made you wonder and ask. And that's the best kind of art. Everybody wonders, do I know art? Yes, I know art. That's the best version of art I've ever seen from the NFL. Beautiful stuff. Well,
nobody knows this either. Nobody knows this either.
I'm struggling with Vic this morning. I'm not going to lie.
Well, wake the hell up.
Just listen. Nobody noticed this except for me. And this is something that I love. He is tucked away in the back right corner of this picture behind Mullet Man is a big buck hunter game that he's just got laying in his living room.
Oh, dude, I love that.
I don't know what that is.
It's the game that you see at like Buffalo Wild Wings that you
you smoke
shoot
wildebeest,
deer.
and you smoke antelopes and elk and all kinds of stuff. It's a fun game, man. When you're like 3 or 4 beers in, hammering wings, dude, that is a fun game to play. That and Golden Tee, those are my 2 faves by far.
Well, the whole scene, it reminded me of watching Narcos Mexico when they're on a phone and, they got bodyguards. The dude's on the phone with bodyguards around him asking for something in return. Isn't that something you'd see from a Narcos show? Those are his bodyguards. He's negotiating. He's got somebody hostage somewhere. He's asking how much it's going to take to come pick up the hostage. That's exactly what you see on Narcos.
Are we going to talk about John Gruden's kid being all yoked, jacked? He's like the kid.
He's a strength and conditioning coach.
Oh, okay. Well, he reminded me of the dude from Sean Astin in 50 First Dates. What's-her-face's brother?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Am I wrong about that? I'm like, is that Sean Astin? Who is that guy?
Let's just roll through here to the end of the hour because I got a couple of more that I wanted to get to. How about who got dunked on the worst last night? You guys had to hear this. The very start of the broadcast.
There he is. That's Gruden's kid.
The very start of the broadcast last night, Joe Burrow gets taken, and CU fans were loving the analysis of this pick because Trey Wingo just did a drive-by to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Through his mind right now. Remember, when he entered the transfer portal, he said one more time he wanted to go to Nebraska, and Scott Frost, the coach, said, is he better than what we got? The answer is yes.
Oh, Scott Frost,
So
you are
awesome.
not Mr. Wonderful after all. Huh? Scott Frost could do no wrong in Nebraska. He did a lot of wrong there.
A couple of more categories here. How about this for worst quote after being drafted? This comes from Mekhi Becton. He was drafted by the Jets. And just listen to his response on his little Zoom call with the press afterwards. He said this: I've never been to New York, which is fine. I know the Jets had Brett Favre in the past. I know they had LaDainian Tomlinson in the past. The players that he's bringing up from Jets lore are 2 guys that went there for the twilights of their careers. Isn't that weird, though? It just shows how young that dude is. Like, the only guys he can remember is Favre and LaDainian Tomlinson?
Yeah, well, we're old. We are old. I mean, we're talking about these kids all be my kids. And I got to remember that. They can all be my kids. Some of these guys have kids. They could be my grandkids. You got to take that all into account. My favorite part of the Mekhi Becton little presser, little scene set, his father is the size of a storage unit.
He's got.
Did you see his father?
Dad, yes.
Dude, we had tremors in Denver when his father got up off the couch. We had like aftershocks here. It hit 6.2 on the Richter. Did you see the size of that human being? He could eat me alive, eat me whole, and I'd get lost in a matter of seconds. Did you see him?
Can you imagine, like, especially when the lockdown in coronavirus like really shut stuff down at the beginning? Can you imagine when they started putting please only take 1 meat on the meat counter with that family standing around the meat? Like, no, we're going to need a couple of more here, okay? Look at this family. We need to eat. There's no taking just one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going to say something that is going to come off very insensitive, and I don't care. So let me preface it. I don't care if you don't like this. Behind every great lineman, D lineman, linebacker, great athlete in the NFL or in the NBA is a big mama, right? Is a big mama, because you got to have a mother who's big to make it genetically. You can't have a small mama. You can't do it. So you look for that all the time.
Who's like 5'2".
It's impossible.
Gave birth to a baby who
You can't do it.
6 foot 5.5 or 6'6" and 310 pounds. When
it's
when did that
genetically
ever happen?
impossible. It's
Sandra Bullock in The
genetically
Blind Side.
not possible. You cannot do it. It's not possible. You can't produce it.
I just don't think you can, unless it's just some sort of I don't know. It's just like some sort of weird thing. Like, here's dude and his mom. What is she, a hobbit? No, that's just his mom. She's 5'2". Oh God, okay. You know what I mean?
Give me an example of like a big old dude, a big old hoss, whose mom is 5'4", 115.
No,
Yeah, genetically that doesn't work.
Of course it doesn't work.
Unless she marries a dude who is 6'8" and 3 bills, right?
No, even then. No. The dad can be huge, but most of it comes from mom. Mom is the source of genetic prowess. Mom is the source of athleticism, more so than the man.
So
Sorry.
do you blame your mother for your height? Vic?
Hell yeah, I do. Every damn day I do.
How tall is your mom?
Like 4'11".
Yeah, but she's feisty. She plays like she's 5'3".
Okay, and last thing here, and I want to spend a couple of minutes on this. The biggest what the bleep moment from last night. You had to wait 24 picks to get there. But the Packers not only taking Jordan Love with their first round pick, they traded up to draft Jordan Love. And Marty, cut the music for a second, because if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I am livid. I have a few years left in this league. We just made the NFC Championship game, and we got mauled by San Francisco's defense. And instead of getting me another weapon, instead of getting me a defensive piece to help me out, you're using not only draft capital, but extra draft capital to take somebody that will eventually replace me, not this year, not next year, maybe 3-4 years from now. What's the plan here?
Oh, how the turntables. Oh, how the turntables. It seems to me, that's from The Office. That was a Michael Scott quote. It certainly seems to me that what goes around comes around for Aaron Rodgers. He was the guy, he was Jordan Love when Brett Favre was there in Green Bay. The heir apparent, the next guy, the guy that they had to have. And I'm sure he was totally fine with it. Hey, I'll go to the Green Bay Packers. Okay, fine. At least he got drafted. Remember, he dropped down and he was totally torqued and became a superstar, obviously. But now he's in the same exact position that Brett Favre was in when the Packers drafted him. One Super Bowl championship under your belt, approaching the later stages of your career, and he's got to be going, So this is what it felt like for old number 4. That's what it feels like for me now. And if I'm him, though, I'm like, I still have game left. He's look, I can still play for years to come. I need weapons, and they refuse to go and do it. They've never, in all of his years in Green Bay, they've never drafted a wideout or an offensive lineman in the first round ever.
That's amazing. And you hit on it there, Moser. It's one thing to build for the future. Every franchise should, okay? Always look for the future. But when you expend a first-round pick on a position not of need, a position of luxury, you don't need Jordan Love. You don't need that position. It's a luxury to have the future set. Your quarterback's going to be pissed, and rightfully so.
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen to these quotes from the GM of the Packers, and I can't pronounce his last name. It's Brian Gutekunst. I have no idea. It's very, very hard. He said this about drafting Jordan Love, what that pick means for Aaron Rodgers. Quote, "We've got the best quarterback in the NFL, and we plan to have him for a while." Follow-up question. Is Love or on Love being the eventual Rodgers replacement? Quote, "I don't think you can put that on him right now." So what exactly was the purpose for this pick then? And I know that you want to kind of be like, you don't want to be too specific about things because you don't want to get into that, especially without probably talking to Aaron Rodgers yet. But you're right about this, Moj. I don't know about the offensive lineman part of that. I think they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round.
Not the first. I don't think they did, dude. I think in his entire time there, they've never taken a wideout or an O lineman in the first round. I think
Aaron Rodgers said this on Pat McAfee's show that we haven't picked a skill position player in the first round in 15 years. So that would be kind of cool. He said that a few weeks ago on Pat McAfee's show, and they come back and they take what I guess is technically a skill position player, right? A quarterback, but
it's your position. It's your position.
It's his position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For Rodgers, it's your position. What are you doing in Green Bay? Why would you do that? You know what? It seemed like he was dropping as well. I don't know, man. I don't get it. They're not in a win now mentality with Aaron Rodgers. If I had Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, I would be pulling the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and trying to stack it for my big time quarterback in order to try and win before he's done. That's what I would do.
Regarding my commentary,
unless they're trying to run him out of town, I don't know.
My commentary regarding look at the mother to see what kind of size player you're going to get. Somebody on the text line says, my mom was 5'6", my dad 5'8". I'm 6'7", 285, and my sister's 6'3". Well, you guys are obviously adopted. Sorry, I'm going to let you know right now. Whatever age you are, I'm here to tell you they are not the mother or the father. You've been adopted, so sorry. I'm the bearer of that news.
So you're just trying to tear a family apart now at the end of the season.
I'm just saying that's not possible.
That's what I always wanted. Listen, adoption is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
It's just not possible. You can't.
Finding out from Vic Lombardi on the radio is not a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing.
You can't have a kid that's 1.5 feet taller than his mom and dad and 100. You just can't. It's not. You can't. Sorry, can't do it. Not happening.
303-504-0925 is B. Johnson, Auto Plaza listener line.
You did not major in DNA analysis at Notre Dame, did you? What'd you major in?
That can't happen, Moj. Okay. Listen to me. What I just explained to you cannot happen genetically. Okay? Unless you have some freaky things happen.
I saw the
Unless you get on the
Twins.
juice.
I saw the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's possible.
Stop
tell me what isn't.
Put your leg down. You're freaking me out today, man. You're telling me I'm working. It's like you've taken over the world right now. How much coffee have you had? Let's go to break.
I'm just a little upset that you guys did not agree with me. The highlight of the night was when they kept going to C.D. Lamb's house and his lady kept trying to get his phone. And the shot of his lady just sitting there all gussied up. His lady. Come on now.
I want to talk some Jerry Jeudy coming up here in a little bit, too. Let's do that, Brett.
Back in 3 minutes.
What's up, guys? Raj with Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. I'm back, and that means we're giving away free stuff. This time is for the NFL Draft. As a reminder, on Thursday and Friday at 6 p.m., all the way through the last pick in that night's round, you can hear Andy Lindahl and all of our 92.5 hosts with limited commercial interruption, presented by Modelo Especial. But the reason why I'm here, I'm giving away free stuff. It's free money. All you have to do is right here on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, just use the hashtag ISelect925 with your first pick for Denver Sports Talk. That's it. All you have to do, right down here in the comments, use the hashtag. You can send us a photo, send us a video, get as creative as you want, or just use the hashtag ISelect925 for your first pick for Denver Sports Talk. And as an added bonus, if you hear your name on 92.5 or the Altitude Sports Radio app, you'll have 9 minutes and 25 seconds to call back and double your money to $100. That's it. No strings attached whatsoever. Just use the hashtag ISelect925 for your first pick for Denver Sports Talk.
we expect that TikTok?
What are you doing, Marty? Why do you have one song on top of another?
That song's 10 seconds. What do you want?
No, that's not how it works. You don't do like two songs coming back from break. You do one or the other. Well, you don't have Bruno Mars and the TikTok song. It's one or the other. Sorry. I
just refer to that as the TikTok song.
What is it?
I mean, it's an actual song. It's not the TikTok song.
What I'm
Yeah.
trying to determine this morning, Brett and Marty, correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm screwed up this morning or Vic is screwed up this morning. One of us is screwed up.
No, it's Vic. Vic is a mess this morning.
He's on the peanut butter.
Yeah, Vic's on the peanut butter.
What are you guys talking about?
At least now I know. I'm not judging you, Vic. I'm not going to judge you this morning because I've been there, okay? And you're my brother. What I'm saying is I had to have some clarification. One of us is jacked up. And now I've determined 3 out of 4 doctors on this show say that Dr. Lombardi is jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason we played that TikTok song is because Jerry Jeudy, the Broncos' #1 pick, did a TikTok with Commissioner Goodell where they danced to that song. And I was very impressed. Not with Jeudy, with the commissioner. I thought the commissioner was close to the moves.
Impressed with the commissioner?
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I'm not afraid to say that.
Well, hold on a
gave it
second. Were you impressed? Were you impressed that he actually attempted it, or were you impressed with his moves?
Both. He moved his right foot and his left foot when the song called for both to move. Like if you tried this, you wouldn't come close. You wouldn't be as good as the commissioner. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay,
Jeudy was a little more.
Let's make something clear. No, let's make something clear. The only way you can be impressed by what Roger Goodell did in that video is if you expected him to literally trip and fall on his face by attempting it. Like if that was your beginning expectation, then maybe you're impressed that he accomplished it, but it wasn't good. The reason why it went viral was because Roger Goodell was so cringeworthy, especially this last sort of what was
I don't know what that
this
was.
move?
I don't know what it was.
Touchdown, field goal. That's what it was. It's the NFL version of that.
I thought he was lifting a cardboard box up on the top shelf. That's what I thought he was doing.
You guys don't know art.
Let's get to some Jeudy though. Let's get to
I want to break down
wide
Jerry
receiver.
Jeudy.
Let's get to this wide receiver.
We haven't spoken of Jerry Jeudy yet. We mentioned how it's a good pick, how he's a talented receiver. But in my humble opinion, and again, I hope I'm wrong on everything I say here coming out of my mouth, I'm not sure if the kid's all there.
What do you mean?
Man, do a little history there on Jerry Jeudy. I'm not sure if he's all there. And the guy shows up at the combine wearing a Star of David pendant. We talked about that, right? And he's asked, why are you wearing a Jewish pendant? And he goes to explain why. And his explanation makes 0 sense whatsoever. And my immediate reaction to that, we talked about it during the combine, was, what's this kid thinking? What are you thinking? Did somebody tell him how folks can find that offensive? What's he thinking?
I mean, you can be, I get offended by that, and that's fine. He's really good. And I mean, look, you want to say he's.
All right,
I mean, what do you mean to do here? Like, he's not all there. I don't think he's going to get in trouble. I don't think he's going to get in trouble with the law. Might he say some stupid stuff? Fine. But Aqib Talib said a whole bunch of stuff that was controversial, too, and he still played corner really well. That doesn't bother me at all.
He was a really
So
good
when I see his
player.
ass like that, I'm going to beat his ass.
Like, what do you mean? Does that make him undraftable that he did it? It might have been stupid.
No,
I'll give you that.
I said if he wear that chain in front of me, I'm going to snatch it off.
let me put it this way. Let me go to Vic's point of view, but let me take a different tact as well. Listen, when I was Jerry Jeudy's age, I did all kinds of stupid things. Okay, I mean, believe me, I'm sure Vic, you did as well. Heck,
all right, so you agree that's stupid?
Okay, but you lost a shoe, and you
but you
all
agree
night without a shoe.
All I'm pointing out that's pretty stupid to wear a pendant like that.
I would recommend
it's a dumb thing to do.
Okay,
Okay,
I'd
that's
recommend.
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, let me put it this way. But also, like, if my old man or a buddy of mine went, man, that's kind of dumb. You know, knock it off or whatever. Then I would take it off. But but that's his thing. He's like, no, I'm just going to keep plowing through. Even though I'm not Jewish, I'm going to be wearing the Star of David. And listen, I've seen plenty of people online who are Jewish who say that It doesn't offend me. Welcome to the Denver Broncos. I'm Jewish, and it's cool. I've seen some that say, you know what, I'm offended by that. I don't know. I guess it's not my right to be offended or not offended because I'm not Jewish. I just think it's a silly kid maneuver. That's what it is. It's a silly youngster thing.
Dude, I'm not going to hold that over him.
And me either. In the grand scheme of things, he's coming to play football. I really don't care about what jewelry he wears. It doesn't affect me one way or another. It's how does he perform?
Yes.
And do he and Drew Lock have chemistry?
Agreed. And I'm sure the Broncos vetted him. I'm sure one of the first conversations, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing with that? What's going on? What's on your mind? What's this?
Right.
Yeah. What are you doing? And I don't want to get too deeply into this because if we went here, you can go on and on about every player. But if you searched his Twitter history, oh my God, this kid's mind was everywhere. And I hate people who do that. I hate people who go years back into Twitter and say, well, look what he said, right? We all hate that. But I found great delight in checking his Twitter history because he's funny, man. Here we go. This is from July 11, 2013. This would make him how old? July 11, 2013.
15? No, 14.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey,
I need me a
14,
fat
15.
girl. I need me a fat girl. That means she know how to cook. But at the same time, I don't because I don't want her eating off my plate when she's done.
I mean, look, of course, people are going to find that offensive. I'm typically of the mind that comedy is if you're trying to be funny, then it's all okay. And again, this is what happens, right? Somebody gets drafted, you comb through his old tweets. It's why the NFL, by the way, told all of them, scrub your Twitter account.
Strip it down.
Look for all the stuff that could be found mildly offensive and take that all away. And again, look, is there some dumb stuff there? Sure there is, but it doesn't matter because he didn't seem to get in any trouble from what I understand at Alabama. Didn't seem to be much trouble there. Works hard, and he's a good wide receiver.
Yep.
I think that's all that matters.
I saw his workout the day of the draft. He's in the weight room working out. He looks smooth. He is smooth. That's how I describe Jerry Jeudy. Not powerful, smooth. And the kind of receiver that should be the best receiver on the roster. He should be. He better be. Yeah, maybe not out of the gate. Not out of the gate because you got to make that NFL curve. But this year, he better be their best receiver. Would you agree?
I think that he has to be eventually, yeah. But Vic, you're talking to a guy here wearing one of his fishing shirts, by the way, because I wanted to. I wanted to keep you guys feeling good about the fishing shirt. You're talking to a guy who loves Cortland Sutton. I mean, I love the guy as a player. I love him as a dude. I mean, I really like Cortland Sutton. Now, is he a true number one? I don't know. I think he could be. With his size, his ability to get up over DBs, his ability to come down with the football. He's still a very young player. He's got a ton of room to grow. He may be the one, and Jeudy may be the 1A. We've seen plenty of teams with that kind of setup, and that's fine. I don't know if he has to be the number one next year, but he's got to be good. I mean, 15th overall, highest ever wide receiver taken by the Denver Broncos. He's got to be good, and I think he will be good. All this other stuff is just whatever. But again, if the Broncos felt comfortable about him, then that's on the Denver Broncos, and that's totally fine because the guy can play football.
Two things surprised me last night. First, that he's the first Alabama player ever taken by John Elway in the draft. All right, so everybody that contends, Elway stays away from Alabama players, that was just pure luck in whatever, the way things fell. He took an Alabama player. That's number one. The biggest surprise of the night, in my opinion, is that the first receiver off a very deep receivers board was not Jeudy, was not CeeDee Lamb. It was Judy's teammate who went to the Raiders. And if you know the Raiders' history, that doesn't surprise you. They've gone for speed since Hal Davis was running the show. But could you guys tell, or was it just me? And when Jeudy was interviewed afterwards, he sort of had a chip on his shoulder when asked about Rugg and how he ended up going to the Raiders. Could you guys feel that? I felt it. I didn't hear it. I felt it.
Well, I'm sure he's confused because he's like, man, nobody questioned on my own team who the best receiver was. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew that I was the guy. And yes, Ruggs is really good. And I'm sure they're boys and stuff like that because you always are your teammates. You play the same position. You're probably hanging out a lot, that kind of thing. But he's probably like, what? the hell happened here between me being the best receiver on my team and best receiver in the country to most people to Ruggs is the first guy off the board? I'm glad. Good. Have that chip on your shoulder. And the good thing about what Judy can do is he fills an immediate need for this team, not just being a wide receiver, but having somebody where you can put him in the slot. And the slot is much easier just to get on the ground and start running.
And that's his forte too. His forte is finding soft spots in the defense. That's what he does well. His forte is to find those areas where it's an easy throw for the quarterback, and then he can make things happen once he catches the football. And I think if you're talking about a slot guy, hey man, over the top with the backers, underneath the DBs, while you've got Cortland, drawing safety help and so on. I think he has a chance to be very, very effective for the Denver Broncos even this coming year.
As a student of human reaction, one thing I noticed when each of the picks was made last night and the family's reaction, the players' reaction, everybody was hip. And then they get to Judy. And I'm not saying he's unhappy to be a Bronco, even though he said he knows very little about the Broncos. He's going to be fine. He did not react. His family did not react with as much emotion as the others did before him. And I think that had more to do with the fact that he fell to 15 and he thought he'd be a top 10 pick.
Yep. 303-504-0925 is the Johnson Auto Plaza listener line. Give us a call if you guys want in. James Palmer of the NFL Network joins us at 9 o'clock. Stick around. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hey, Moser, by the way,
belly
have you
dance.
eaten? Remember you said you were not going to eat until this morning. Did you go the full 24 hours?
Of course not. Let me explain. We were doing the sports social show yesterday, and I had some Anthony's pizza delivered.
Oh, so
And
not only
like,
did you not eat, you ordered a pizza.
Oh, can I explain?
I don't want to hear you.
Today is the day that I stop eating.
Yeah, shut up. Turn him off next time he says that. I'm so tired of making these calls every day. Oh, I'm over 190. I'm going to stop. I hate people like you. Every day you make this edict, you make this plan, and then you never follow up. So I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't feel sorry for you. There's no sympathy from my end. Just do the job.
Man of your word.
Friday's supposed to be our happy day. See, Friday is our drunk take Friday. Friday is our things we talk about while we're not talking sports day. This is the day after round one of the NFL draft.
If you want to look like Mekhi Becton's dad, have at it, man.
Why you want to bust up his old man? I happen to think his old man is doing something right. And that's living his life. Living his best life. Now, I don't want to look like him. I'm just saying, why don't you settle down there, Spank Plug?
All four of us can reside in Mekhi Becton's dad's belly.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
We haven't talked about the top end of this draft yet because I know I'm pretty chalk, right? Burrow,
What's wrong with
Young.
Hold on.
Yeah. Shut him down. Shut him down.
Golly.
What a waste.
He's got like a 5-year-old playing Xbox or something. I don't know what the heck is going on.
Amateur setup over there.
It's just ridiculous. Vic, in terms of where the Broncos went with Jerry Jeudy, it's a very good pick. John Elway, we saw the video of him. I mean, he was spinning around in his office chair, right? He's just having a field day, having a ball, doing his thing, and that's good because the guy's a player. Don't get me wrong. Now, it's what are the Broncos going to try and address coming up tonight and beyond. And again, this is where the assets that you've built up, they've got 4 picks tonight. This is where the assets that you've built up come into play because you can start packaging things to move up even a couple of spots if you like a guy. Because we all know the second round and the third round, this is where guys drop. But you may have looked at him, you and your crew, and go, you know what? We really like this guy. And this is where it becomes in the eye of the beholder. Whatever you like about him, this is where you take your assets and you start to build like they did last year with Locke. This is where you start to build on that and start to get players in who you think are going to be players for a long time for your team, or at least you hope they're going to be.
Thursdays for show, Fridays, Saturdays for all the dough. This is where you really make your roster good and deep. And they've got 4 picks over the next 2 rounds. All right. So they got some stuff. Actually, the next 3 rounds. So they have some stuff to work with here. The Broncos can do some damage both today and tomorrow. And they've got 10 picks overall. Do they hold on to all 10? I don't know. You're making picks for the sake of making picks at that point. But I do agree with Brett on one thing. Don't be surprised if the Broncos package a couple of those late rounders to move up a few spots today. If they target a guy that they absolutely have to have, an lineman. You see who's still on the board. That Ezra Cleveland is still on the board from Boise State, the best remaining left tackle. So there are some linemen there that they can go after. Not some of the names, the big names that we expected to go in the first. But all day yesterday, I kept hearing Ezra Cleveland might sneak into the first round. Well, he's still right there, still there for the taking.
And what I want to do is I want to think about what the Broncos are going to do today. O-line is number one, obviously. They definitely need corner help. They need depth at that position. We all know that. They need some linebacker help, although they just, a couple of years ago, they used the pick on the kid out of Iowa. Either way, the Josie Jewell, the point is that, hey, Brett, welcome back. The point is that I would like them to start addressing some of those coming up tonight. You know what I mean? And again, if you have another wideout that you think is a good player and you've got him graded high and he's there, go get him. That's fine. Or do both. Start to package and move up. But start to address some needs right now because I'll tell you this. I look around the AFC West. The Chiefs are clearly the number one team. But do you guys like what the Raiders did yesterday? Do you guys like that?
No, in fact,
you don't like Ruggs in the other kid.
Who is the other guy? The other guy,
Damon Arnett. He's a DB out of Ohio State.
Yeah, he's Chris Carter's kid. Correct. But they made that pick, and everybody's like, "What?" I thought both of the Raiders picks were reaches. I thought taking. Listen, I'm not going to dismiss the receiver from Bama, Ruggs. I'm not going to dismiss him. He's speed, right? Speed kills. But the first receiver off the board, that surprised me. And that sort of set in motion the opportunity for the Broncos to do what they did. I thought the biggest surprise picks came, of course, from the Oakland Raiders.
Okay, so would you rather have Ruggs or Judy?
I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm
somebody
just
had
surprised
to
that
be the
Ruggs was the first.
Okay.
Now, you know who I wanted yesterday? I wanted CeeDee Lamb, and Elway even said CeeDee Lamb was the second best receiver on their board after.
This was even before
Judy.
You knew about his
exactly.
his people around him.
Wanted CeeDee Lamb. I've heard a lot of people. One person that I respect his take on NFL when it comes to this stuff, NFL talent. He had CeeDee Lamb ranked ahead of Jerry Jeudy. CeeDee Lamb is the number one receiver on the board.
See, but as far as what you want most, I mean, think about it this way. Who do you want more, Ruggs or Judy? Judy was projected as a top 10 pick that fell to number 15, and it's been like that the entire way. When college football was happening last year, Jerry Jeudy was always mentioned as the best, if not the second best, wide receiver in the entire nation. I mean, the Raiders, they reached on Ruggs.
Okay.
And if you had your
people
choice,
said Kansas City reached on Mahomes. I'm just saying. People said Kansas.
I get it, dude. I get it. But the Broncos weren't talking about trading up in the draft for a receiver for Henry Ruggs. They were talking about that for Jerry Jeudy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when we talked to Legwold yesterday, what he does better than anybody else, he gets separation on his routes, and that's what matters. Legwold was talking about that. Ruggs has speed, and we associate that with separation. But if you're a crisp route runner, you get open. That's what matters most.
Okay.
What Legwold said almost word for word was, you run a 4.4 or 4.5, that's not a problem. It's can you separate?
No, that is correct. But what about what the Chargers did? They get Justin Herbert, who could end up being an all-pro.
Major
we don't
reach.
know.
Major reach.
Okay.
I thought the Chargers were the second worst draft, to be honest with you. What the Chargers did in the first round, I shook my head. I was like, what are you doing?
Hold on a second. Do you know how good Kenneth Murray is out of Oklahoma? Do you know how good this? Okay, I'm just telling you, at 23, they got a linebacker who's he's going to anchor that linebacking core for the next 12 years, Vic. That's how good this guy is. In fact, Kenneth Murray, in my opinion, may have been one of the most solid players in the entire draft. He's an immediate plug-in, and he's a fire and forget missile. You throw him in the middle of that linebacking core, and you forget about him. That's how good that guy is. And let me tell you something else. He can cover. He can blitz. He can hit like a mother. I mean, this guy is a player. So I'm just looking around the rest of the AFC West. As far as the Raiders are concerned, yeah, maybe a little bit of a crapshoot. Maybe it'll pay off. Maybe it won't. As far as the Chargers are concerned, you got a quarterback, Vic. You got a quarterback who's been as rated as highly. Justin Herbert, while he has his flaws, okay. I just don't think
somebody on the text line says
I don't think he's a reach.
Somebody on the text line says, sounds like you guys are trying to convince yourselves that other teams in the division did not pick well. That's not what I'm trying to do. Come on, if you've heard the show long enough, I don't care. I'm being objective here because I tell you what, Kansas City hit a home run with their pick. That kid out of LSU, my favorite running back in the draft, that's a home run pick right there. It's a home run pick.
He's a little guy, but he's a stud.
Yeah. Was that necessary for him though? Like, if you're a Chiefs
run?
Listen, if you're a Chiefs fan, wouldn't you rather have a defensive player than adding another offensive piece? How much better is your offense going to get?
Okay, they have the opposite.
39 points a game to 44.
Run. As we get to break here, they have the opposite philosophy the Broncos have had the past several years, and that is, you want to beat us? You're going to have to put 45 up.
Exactly.
Hey, you want to beat us?
Do what you do.
You better get the 40.
Who you are. Exactly.
And now they're saying, they're saying,
how dare you, Brett?
Yeah, how dare you, Kane?
How dare you? This is the Super Bowl champion, and you're like, well, I don't agree with their strategy. They just ran all over and exploded all over every team in the league on the way to a Super Bowl. You're going to tell them, well, that's not how you build a championship. Shouldn't they rerun their defense a little bit?
Brett, they're down 24 points. They're down 21 points. They're down 24 points and 21 points. And you know what they do? Bing, 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 ricochet rabbit, and they're on top 28-24.
What's the key
I don't know
word
what
you
to
said?
tell
Mr.
you.
Smart Guy. Mr.
What's the
Smart
key
Guy
word you
telling
said?
Andy Reid how to operate a team.
Oh, Jesus, man. Andy Reid got his first Super Bowl last year. Now he's untouchable from criticism. Okay, cool.
Well,
here's
he's
the
the
thing.
reigning champ.
Listen,
I don't like
why
it.
were
I
they
don't like it
down?
as much as you do.
Yeah, they overcame all of those odds, right? They overcame all of these deficits that they had last year. Why were they down 24-0 to the Texans? Why
Nobody
were they
cares
down?
about the Chiefs' defense. Nobody cares.
Would you rather have your team? I'm gonna ask you a legit question. You can even chew on it during the break over a glass of milk. Would you rather have your team force teams to score 40 to win, or would you rather have teams, would you rather try to win 13-10? That's my question to you, Jackson. You take a break, you think about it, you answer, you do whatever it is you want, but you determine what you like.
For the last one, there was a Super Bowl victory of a 13-10 score. I dare you. I dare you. Do it. Do it, coward. Do it.
Settle down just a little bit.
Step back, Jacob Bloom. Well, let me hear you now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Come on, Vic. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Let's do it now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Well, here we go now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Take it to the house. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Knock it down, mother trucker. Knock it down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
In your
Knock it down.
face.
Step back, Jacob Bloom. Come on, say it now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. We'll drop it in there. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Knock it down now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Well, let me hear you now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Come on, Vic. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Let's do it now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Well, here we go now. Step back, Jacob Bloom. Take it to the house. Step back, Jacob Bloom. What are you doing it? Step back, Jacob Bloom. Come on.
What's up, guys? Raj with Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. I'm back, and that means we're giving away free stuff. This time it's for the NFL Draft. As a reminder, on Thursday and Friday at 6 p.m., all the way through the last pick in that night's round, you can hear Andy Lindahl and all of our 92.5 hosts with limited commercial interruption, presented by Modelo Especial. But the reason why I'm here, I'm giving away free stuff. It's free money. All you have to do is right here on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, just use the hashtag ISelect925 with your first pick for Denver Sports Talk. That's it. All you have to do, right down here in the comments, use the hashtag. You can send us a photo, send us a video, get as creative as you want, or just use the hashtag ISelect925 for your first pick for Denver Sports Talk. And as an added bonus, if you hear your name on 92.5 or the Altitude Sports Radio app, you'll have 9 minutes and 25 seconds to call back and double your money to $100. That's it. No strings attached whatsoever. Just use the hashtag ISelect925 for your first pick for Denver Sports Talk. With your first pick for Denver Sports Talk. That's all you have to do, and she walked right through the shot.
I'm sorry. I thought you were recording.
Hashtag
Joining us at 9 o'clock this morning. Stick around for that. Don't forget our draft coverage continuing. 6 o'clock tonight. Andy Lindahl anchoring that coverage. Myself, Moser, Kreckman, all joining him throughout the night, along with Jeff Legwold. That is brought to you by Modelo Especial and Jeff Legwold's appearances by Templeton Rye Whiskey. You also have a chance to win a $50 gift card, a Visa gift card. All you have to do is go on your social media pages and hashtag #ISelect925. That's it.
People are doing
You're
it, too.
drafting
I
us
like
with
it.
your first overall pick in the sports radio draft. Hashtag #ISelect925. You get a $50 Visa gift card. You're in the running for one of those. We announce the names during the draft coverage starting at 6 o'clock. If you hear your name called during the draft coverage and you call in saying, I heard my name, that is $100 coming your way. You double up on your money.
You ready for this? 8 out of 10 people who heard their name last night called in.
6 out of 8. 6 out of 8.
Crap. Well, it's still a pretty damn good percentage. 6 out of 8.
So out of the 8 winners last
just so you
night,
know,
yes,
we worked on that. We
6
worked
out of
on
8.
that for a long time, getting that number right. And he still messed it up.
6 out of 8 called in and picked up a cool 100 bones. I'd like to have a cool 100 bones. But the point is that, listen up, man. And why wouldn't you select 92.5 with your number one pick? I mean, why would you go anywhere else? Well, not only do we give you all the information that you need, not only do we tell you who these guys are and how they fit, but I think we do it in an entertaining fashion. I think we do it because we're actually real human beings and not,
well, you see, the first step is always a quarter inch to the right. And then he pivots back and that.
All right, shut up. I got breaking news. Shut up.
What do you
got? This is important. CD Lamb's girlfriend.
Oh, God. Here we go.
She was the show last night. CD Lamb's girlfriend won the show.
Okay.
When she took his phone and then he took it right back, he snatched it right back. Her name is Crimson Rose. That's her name.
What?
Crimson Rose. That's her name. CRYMSON. Crimson.
Sounds like Poison Ivy's sister.
This was forwarded to me via Twitter from Elias. Thank you, Elias. Crimson Rose talking about why she snatched the phone from CD's hands. She said, quote, his agent was facing